Every Flight Shops episode has an aviation learning nugget, and this one's no different.
I have my clearance, but I want to stop.
Victor India, Juliet, Char, pull up, go around.
On the go, Victor Juliet.
I'm gonna connect the most awesome and fuel inefficient plane that I fly with a huge initiative to plant 20 million trees.
This tree was planted when I was a baby, and now look how tall it is.
So please bear with me while I try to make a compelling case. Ever since I was a kid, I've dreamed of the chance to fly a legit World War II aircraft. There's not many of these planes left in airworthy condition, and not many people qualified to fly them. I'm lucky to have access to one that does fly. And to stay sharp, I need to fly it. These machines come from a golden age when major discoveries were being made that we still see in modern aircraft. However, when they built these things, fuel efficiency was not a concern. And unfortunately, this airplane takes a lot of gas. And I mean a lot of gas. So as much as I love flying these things, I face an internal struggle each time I head to the hangar. So I'm not going to deny it feels awesome to fly this airplane. A huge part of it is just the rush. I can't deny that.
This is definitely the most challenging airplane that I fly. I take it very seriously. I was thinking I would make a routine video, briefing myself while doing pattern work. This is going to be like as if I'm flying with a passenger, just talking through what I'm doing.
And I got more than I bargained for having to execute a real-world go-around when the tower revoked my landing clearance after I was practically committed to the flare. We'll get to that in a minute, but first some context about my internal struggle. Clearly we've got a problem. The planet, I've been joking that it's on fire, but currently the Amazon is actually literally burning, so it's not hyperbolic to say the planet is on fire. This is part of the problem. I'm part of the problem, and I feel bad about that. I mean, look at the size of this engine. It is a rush to start this thing. This engine is a 1340 cubic inch displacement. It's 600 horsepower supercharged, 9-foot prop. It's bonkers to get behind this thing. I mean, the prop tips literally break the sound barrier when it's at takeoff power. There's no question that when I set takeoff power in this thing, it's guzzling a ton of gas, and I do feel guilty.
Power is set. Airspeed's alive, engine temperature and pressure is good, eyes outside.
I want to do something for my part to offer a solution. I don't know what the solution is. I don't want to be preachy. I don't want to be political. I don't want to tell you what to do, but there's something you can do. So a whole bunch of YouTubers are getting together to basically game the algorithm. If enough of us do this, we're going to dominate the trending page. We're going to dominate the hashtag. And you're probably going to see these videos all through your suggested videos, and that's kind of the idea. The more momentum we can give this thing, the better, and we can really truly do it. I mean, we're going to try to get $20 million raised to plant 20 million trees, and I think we can do it.
Positive rate, tap the brakes. Gears coming up. Climb out 95.
I don't think there's any downside to this. We're just talking about planting trees, doing something positive. If you have a downside, I invite you to share it. I'd love to have a constructive conversation about it. Please don't leave comments like this one. This guy was reacting to us being at the climate strike in Stockholm.
So we are at the climate strike in Europe, Sweden, Stockholm.
Evelyn is 11. She cares about the planet, and she wanted to be there. It was her idea. She made her little cute sign. We brought her to the climate strike. I'm just trying to expose my kid to lots of culture. I'm not trying to be preachy, but I mean, it's a real problem. We got problems, and I'm trying to do something to offer some part of the solution. This guy was completely arrogant and negative and offered nothing positive to the conversation. And if you disagree with someone, it doesn't mean you have to unfollow them, and like let's have a constructive conversation. Let's all try to get together. I just want to do something positive, and together we can do something and we can make a difference.
Alright, there's pattern power is 20 inches, 1750 RPM. Gears coming down. Okay, I heard the thumbs, I got fingers, pins, and lights. Gear is down. And with the Tower Victor and Juliet is on the left downwind, runway 25 for a stop and go.
Victor India Juliet Tower. First Macy, make a full stop and remain on the runway when 320 at 4, clear to land, runway 25, keep it in close.
Clear land 25, it'll be a full stop and hold on the runway, and we'll keep it in tight. Victor India Juliet.
So the counterpoint to what I'm saying here might be, then why fly them? Just let these things be in a museum and leave it at that. But what we do here is fly these airplanes to display them, to honor veterans. That is the mission statement of this organization. We've got a fleet of flying warbirds. To me personally, it's a little heartbreaking to see something that could fly sitting gathering dust. So here, we actually fly them, let the public see them, experience them, hear them, smell them. So it's an honor to fly this thing. I mean, it's a total rush. This is a 6,000-pound World War II fighter trainer. My grandfather flew Spitfires. It's a big part of why I fly this thing. I want to honor veterans. I want to be a part of sharing this stuff with the public, but we've got to run them. You got to hear them. You got to see them. They have to fly.
Gear is down, mixture is rich. Prop is full fine. Switches, mags are on both. Everything else is good. Fuel's gonna stay where it is.
They're operational. They do fly. They're not going to fly forever, but they fly now. So we've got qualified crew that need to stay current on these things. I'm honored to be one of them.
69 Tower, number 2, following a Harvard on a tight left base.
Okay, we copy Jazz 869 and in sight. Alright, gear is still down.
It requires staying current on them. I mean, the crew that fly them have to fly them. That's what we do. So there's no real way around it. If we are going to do what we do, it requires burning a lot of gas. So I want to make a difference. I want to do something to try to offset that carbon footprint.
I have my clearance, but I want to stop.
Victor India Juliet Tower, pull up, go around.
On the go, Victor Juliet. Tower set. Gear's coming up.
Jazz 869 Tower, wind 330 at 7, clear to land, runway 25.
To land, runway 25, Jazz 869. Flaps are up.
It's rare to get tested with an actual last-minute go-around like this, but happily I executed it properly.
I thought that was pretty tight, but wasn't tight enough for him. But anyway, that's cool. Go-around practice is good. Climb power is set. Climb power is 28 inches and 2,000 RPM.
So that went well. Now let's skip to a reasonably good landing. I've got a lot of videos covering the minutia of this training, but I'm not going to get into it here. Just enjoy the ride along. So stick around for a really detailed cockpit briefing. I thought it'd be fun to add that here. And I want to say thanks to all my sponsors on my standard content. This video was a quick turnaround kind of special thing related to the initiative, so I didn't have time to talk to sponsors about it, so I didn't put them on it.
Alright, that landing was beautiful. I'll take it.
Figure I'll give you a quick cockpit tour of the harbor just after that flight. So let's have a look at some of the stuff I was doing that you might not be able to see. Didn't do a lot of shooting before the flight because I wanted to stay in the zone. It's very important that flying comes first, filmmaking comes second. So there she is. There's the cockpit. Very basic 6-pack from the 40s, essentially. So what do we got here? The most important instruments that I'm looking at are the tri-gauge. Get close up to that. That is for oil temperature, pressure, and fuel pressure. So I'm always looking at the tri-gauge frequently. That's where you're going to notice trends and so on. Then we got our manifold pressure and RPM. That's how we set power. We've got the landing gear and flaps fingers.
That's how we tell where they're at, and also the lights there for landing gear. And I look at the locking pin, which is this thing. I can actually see this thing from the cockpit. It kind of goes chunk and it clicks in place. So you have to check each one of those. So you got to know you have a locking pin on each wing. There's the other one. And then you got your fingers, pins, and lights. That's what you would have heard me saying. And then we have the gear handle is like a wheel. So it's actually shaped like a wheel, so you don't accidentally raise it. You can reach down and feel it. You know you've got the gear handle in your hand. So when you're reaching for flaps, which is shaped like a flap, you don't accidentally raise the gear when you're on the ground. That's basically the reason for that. You got your throttle quadrant right there. So we have the throttle, the big one here. The mixture is the red one. Can you see that? Yeah. And prop is the black one. And this airplane mixture is backwards, so that's lean, which in most other airplanes that would be rich. So we pull it back this way for rich. So that's a little bit different, but it has a locking clip on the throttle, so you can't pass the throttle with the mixture, so you can't accidentally go lean with power. If you can see how we're at here, I had to engage this clip to get the mixture past the throttle when it was in idle position to shut it down. So logically it's a good system. You can't screw it up really, but it is confusing for everyone else that lean is rich and rich is lean. So you got to be prepared for that. Otherwise, we got the airspeed up there, and always make sure the mags are off before you walk away from the airplane, and we make sure the controls are locked, switches are off, and we're done. See you next time. And that's what we do, and there's no real way around it. We got to burn gas.
So we make history come alive.
I mean, right? But it's real. That sounds like a cheesy soundbite.
I know, but that's what it is. That's, to me, I've been struggling to see the value inside of all the things that you've said, right?
Yeah. What do you think about trees?
I think that they're pretty, well, most of the time, and that they give us oxygen. Well, don't they help clean the air?
Yep. Want to go film Hoover eating a basketball?
Yeah.
Hoover is eating a basketball. Eat that basketball. Eat that basketball. Eat it. Spit it out. Spit it out. And rip it. Yeah, it's so satisfying, right? Spit it out. Yeah, great. Hoover taking apart a basketball. It's his favorite thing to do. Okay, well, that's great. At least he's not eating it.
Or is he?
No, he's spitting it out. Yeah. Trees.
Trees, 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 trees.